Hey everyone, my name is Devin Osborne, also known as Rectus Erectus, back again for another episode of literally the only correct guide. Today, as you can obviously tell by the arena we're in, we're going to be focusing on Slave Knight Gael, one of my absolute favorite bosses in the series, with my favorite Dark Souls soundtracks in the series. So, this is, once again,
No. Help me, please. The Red Hood is come to eat us, to eat our dark soul.
This is once again considered to be one of the harder bosses in the series, but definitely not the hardest. He's definitely very interesting and has lots of different like mechanics about him. A lot of mechanics change the further into the fight you get. Personally, I love this boss a lot. He's my absolute favorite. Like I said, I love his like moveset and I love his gimmicks. Before we get into the fight, you need to know that there are 2 Titanite slabs in this location alone. There's one that way between those 2 little formations over there. You have to fight Shira, Knight of Filianor, to get that Titanite slab, if you haven't talked to her already after defeating Dark Eater Mania. And then there's a second slab you can get just up over this hill. Down here by this wandering paired greatsword ring knight. I think he has slightly more health than the original paired greatsword ring knight, but I think with all that out of the way, we're just gonna go ahead and do this. You have to pick up the Titanite slab after you kill Shira, and the ring knight, it just kind of appears in your inventory after you kill him. Sort of like when you kill the Crystal Sage in the Grand Archives and the scroll appears in your inventory. Alright, so we're just going to walk down this hill and activate the boss fight. So this boss fight is very reminiscent of Artorias, especially from the absolute starting cutscene of this.
What still here? Hand it over, that thing, your dark soul. For my lady's painting.
There's that corpse toss. Alright, so we're just going to head over to the arena. Because I especially don't like fighting this guy around that little hill. I like fighting on big flat areas. So he has a lot of varying combos. That attack right there can be avoided by dodging the second you see the white appear on his sword, sort of like weapon art. But what's really interesting is that a lot of his combos can cut off and lead into other combos. Let's see if we can get one right now. Swings his sword. He usually follows up, sometimes he doesn't. As you can see, we're on New Game Plus once again. You can dodge that attack by dodging the first and then dodging again to avoid the second. Sometimes he'll follow up on that forward rushing upward slash. That upward slash can also easily break shield guards, so watch out for that. I'd say don't use a shield for this fight because a lot of his attacks can really decimate your shield guard unless you have a really high stability shield. If you want to avoid that attack, pretty much just avoid the second he rushes forward. It's pretty easy to dodge. Once again, there's that upward slash, which is rarely followed by that sideways backhand slash. Once again, that downward smash. This is the easiest attack to exploit. Once he does that, you can hit him once, twice, or even 3 times, depending on what weapon you're using. 1, 2, 3. Here's the anger phase. You can either roll repeatedly or run away, and it's always followed by that big downward smash. If you're a good enough distance, you can just continue running away. I did not expect that. We're just going to use a little bit of FP to regenerate health. Did not do that follow-up. Sometimes he will follow up if you hit him the second that attack is over. So as soon as he's done with that attack, wait a second, and then you can hit him. Because he does have the chance to attack if you hit him, and his AI realizes that. Once again, dodge when he charges forward. Sometimes you can outspace the attack, but it's always a good idea to charge by the off chance he does increase his attack distance. Because he can absolutely shorten his attack distance. If you're really close to him when he does that attack, he can charge forward even a small amount. You rarely see that attack. Once again, just dodge the second he falls down. Now, what's really interesting about this particular cutscene is that the second he plunges his sword into the ground, all of the ash is cleaned off of his cloak and his armor is fully repaired. As you can see, in a second, when he moves the sword, his left-handed gauntlet will no longer be destroyed. As you can see right there. It's a very interesting cutscene. Now, this phase unlocks a very wide range of attacks. He will actually not use any of his prior attacks before this phase. Forward slash, you just gotta roll a second he charges forward. That attack right there breaks shield guards very easily. When he uses crossbow, be sure to sprint, do not roll spam. Run away on the opposite side of his body so that the Way of White Corona does not hit you. Always roll into his attacks because the follow-up cape swipe will definitely hit you. Sometimes the cape swipe will hit you even if you do roll into the attack. Very low chance of happening, however. Occasionally he'll follow up that left and right slash by doing a stab, which has a forward cape swipe. Forward running attack, followed by another guard breaking attack. You pretty much can just roll, you can pretty much either roll into the forward stab, or you can sprint directly around him to avoid the stab. Oh. As you can see, I avoided the stab entirely by running around him. Be careful with those swipes though, you can't always sprint through them, it's very dangerous. Especially on higher new games where those cape swipes will deal plenty of damage to you. I love the music in this fight, like I said. This is my favorite soundtracks in the game. In the second phase, he will pretty much always slow walk, and when the third phase initiates, he will initiate sprinting to get to you, which is pretty intimidating to watch. Let's see if we can get his weapon art. Slave Knight Gael still uses the Executioner's Greatsword weapon art from time to time if you get close to him. What's really interesting is that he casts his Way of White Corona without using a talisman, which is very interesting. Before we go into third phase, let's see some of his attacks that he hasn't shown yet. That cape swipe right there definitely can roll catch you because it's very slow. The cape swipe is not very fast. Once again, there's that arrow. Oh, there's that spin. You can roll right through the spin. Oh, come on, do your weapon art. Oh, here's that weapon art. You can roll right through the weapon art with like no problem whatsoever. I knew the Corona was about to hit me. One last interesting gimmick about this fight is that he can't teleport. He has that ability. But what's really interesting about the teleport is that he uses his summon sign to teleport. Watch. Yeah, see right there. What the hell just happened? Well, I just broke it. That wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, well, he initiated a sprint right there. That's very interesting. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen at all. He's initiating sprint. He usually doesn't initiate sprint in his second phase. Let's see if we can get him to teleport again. Come on, big guy. You know you want to. I think he's not initiating teleport because he's in sprint right now. You can have a lot of fun with this boss. He's actually one of my favorite bosses to just play around with. Let's see if we can get him to teleport again. Usually he'll teleport if he's walking at a long range. Usually when he does a teleport, he always initiates the Executioner's Greatsword Stomp Ultra Greatsword Spin. Oh, here you go. Here, there's that summon sign. Very interesting thing I thought I'd show you. Alright, let's get him in a second. Let's get him in a third phase. Not a second. So what's really interesting about his third phase is that he actually goes hollow, which means he takes extra damage to the he takes extra damage to the Hollow Slayer Greatsword because he goes hollow. You can test it out yourself. I've tested it out before. I have a Hollow Slayer Greatsword, but it's not max rank, so I won't be able to demonstrate it. Or actually, maybe I will. Let me pull it out. Let's show you the damage between one hit in this phase. So let's do one normal hit. That's 125 damage right there. 125 damage on a normal swipe. Once again, 125. This fight is going to take longer than mid-year one, that's for damn sure. Once again, rolled too early. Rolled into his attack. See, I got caught right there. Alright. These little balls that he shoots out, everywhere they land, lightning will be summoned in its place. Let's see if I can demonstrate that. Forward swipe, followed by a front flip, which summons more balls to shoot at you. Oh, he doesn't. That's really odd. Maybe it's just because it's not max range. The damage for the Hollow Slayer Greatsword doesn't actually change a very significant amount. Like, at all. It's very insignificant. It's usually by like 1, 2, or 3 points. During phase 1 and 2, Gael is weak to dark damage. But in third phase he is not. Lightning strikes can also deal damage to him, but they only deal 1 damage per strike, which means that you definitely can kill Slave Knight Gael using just the lightning, which I have done. It took me about 45 minutes to do, and I had to resort to using I did that on a Faith character, so I was able to regenerate massive amounts of health really quickly. This fight has a lot of front flip attacks. One of his front flip attacks involves him shooting a volley on him. Just like Dark Eater Midair, he can repeat this particular phase switch attack. And every single time he does it, he always uses that attack. Forward swipe, front flip, downward smash. That's always the combo for that particular attack. You can once again sprint or walk around him for that attack. You can even walk around that attack. once again, walked around that attack. Very interestingly designed boss fight. I love this guy so much. The homing projectiles, the little skulls that he shoots out, actually have a very small chance of hitting you. Some will hit you occasionally, but they have a really low chance of actually hitting you. But when they do, they deal moderate damage. I'd say a little bit less than the affinity that Dark Eater Mid-Ear lets out. There's one really interesting thing you can do. Let's see if I can roll to this attack. Let me just heal really quick. I need to gain my bearings. I don't know where I am in this boss arena. Oh, I know where I am. You can run this way to Shira's little arena. And you can have a little bit of fun with him in here. I actually did, this was how I resorted to lightning phase in this boss fight. His tracking also sort of messed up over here. So let's just run in here. Occasionally he can do that really weird left to right homing jump swipe. Left to straight. See, now he's just like messed up over here. He doesn't want to go. There he is. Once again got hit by one of those things. I need to not take massive damage from this one. Ow. God, I took damage. It's not a good idea to roll away from him when he does the front flip slide. Front flip attacks. I just woke up. It's not a very good idea to roll away from him because they have pretty good range tracking, and just like rolling away from his normal attacks, they can catch you. So it's a good idea to just run or roll to his left or right. Not a very hard boss to fight at all. Oh, there's that arrow attack. He can shoot you in midair. I think that is probably the coolest attack in the entire Dark Souls series. If you disagree, then, well, unsubscribe to me, please. Because this guy can find the time to rain crossbow bolts on you while he's midair front flip, followed by a down flip, front flip slam. I think I have the silver serpent ring on equip right now. I need to equip that before the end of the fight. Oh god, he's definitely going to get me. Oh no? Wow. Alright. Slave Knight Gael drops around 120,000 souls, which is really interesting considering that he has destroyed pretty much most of this world's beings. Oh, he's dead. So that's pretty much that. If you roll into his attacks, it's always a good idea to roll into his attacks. Maintain a really aggressive playstyle throughout the entire fight. There you go, 699,000. Keep in mind, though, I have tried this. If you bring Slave Knight Gael over to the Wandering Ringed Knight, they will not fight each other. I tried it. Even if Slave Knight Gael ends up hitting them, they won't aggro on him. They will end up aggroing on you, which will cause more trouble on your part. So that was that. I'd say this is the only exception to the idea that you can resort to using a dark stoneplate ring. Don't use a crest shield that prevents dark damage. However, it's not a very good idea. Keep up aggression. Use fast weapons. Weapons like ultra great swords aren't a great idea, even if they do stagger him more often. It will just leave you open to attacks more often. If you're a strength character, use a straight sword, something like the long sword or a dark sword if you have one. Dark swords don't deal dark damage, but they are straight swords that have very good strength scaling. If you're dex, use a katana or use the Lothric Knight straight sword. This has very high dex scaling at S, at plus 10 sharp. I only have this shield for soul increase. Bring a chime for regeneration if you want to. Felinor's chime is very good, as the regeneration effect works when it's not equipped. So if you're a faith character, this fight will be very easy for you to draw out, especially if you have really high regeneration with Henri's straight sword, the right shields, spells, and all that with the chimes and the rings. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if this helped you out any, and I'll see all you guys in the next video. This is a 20-minute long video, and I apologize for that. See ya.